It's hard to believe this week marks 50 years since Neil Armstrong first set foot on the moon. The Wright brothers made their flight only 65 years earlier when most people were still using horses as their main means of transportation. Comparing these events is useful in pointing out the speed at which technology is racing in our lives. We all work to keep our lives as simple and manageable as possible, but we are inadvertently swept up by these marvels of technology regardless of any attempt to resist. These changes are more dramatic today as most people did not live long enough to notice the major changes of modernization if they lived in the first half of the 20th century. The only things that are certain in life is death, taxes, and change. To expect things to remain constant is ridiculous. Thus, the stress of change is ever increasing. In 1899, the Commissioner of the United States Patent Office wanted to close it because he believed everything that could be invented had occurred. At the beginning of the 20th century, it took 100 years for the total amount of information in the world to double. After World War II, the information was doubling every 25 years, with the current rate estimated at 1 day. Dysfunctionality occurs in society today because of this rapid rate of change. Even the most ridiculous ideas get some traction because they're circulated so quickly. In the past, the absurd was ignored and died before it could get any traction or be called fake news. With the rule of large numbers, a very small percentage of a very, very large number is a very large number. If only 1% of our country believes the fake news they hear, that's over 3 million people. Being an engineer, I've always enjoyed the wonders of science, engineering, and technology. I thought I could spend my entire life in that area and not worry about politics, social problems, or the government. That may have been possible at the start of the 20th century, but because of the avalanche of information of today, that is not possible. We are finding out about almost everything instantly, with things that violate our value system, the most disturbing and disruptive. When we look at the tax dollars used in the space race, trillions of dollars were invested, not spent, in developing the marvels of today's world. They were initially developed to solve the problems involved in putting a man on the moon. The criticism that the money should have been spent on social programs is a short-sighted argument used by social justice warriors and is still used today. With the trillions spent on social programs, the United States is the home of the richest poor in the world, with the number of poor always increasing. The money spent practically made no difference solving any of the social problems. In fact, they are worse. If the investments were not made in getting a man to the moon, advances in computers, communication, medicine, transportation, along with the numerous material innovations would have not have occurred. It is difficult to imagine a life without these technological wonders. Some of us would still be using horses to get around, and it's safe to say that the same percentage of the poor would still be struggling to get through life, regardless of all the money that is spent to fix it. These are the blessings of capitalism, blessed because of the incentive it breeds in society. Of course, we should always help our fellow man by teaching them how to fish and not giving them a fish and not expecting the government to do it for us. This happens through example and encouragement to learn and achieve. And not having the government spend trillions of dollars on social programs with little to show other than the need for more money because the bureaucracy found more victims that need help from the government. This is Keith Kuby wishing you the best in making the world a better place.